Not music. Still can't really hear it. There we go. Yeah. He didn't mute everybody. Well, then don't mute me.
You're not muted.
All right, we got March 11th here on the Friday Standdown. We got Landman Life sitting here in our headquarters. We got the intern sitting over there monitoring the situation, being the gatekeeper for letting people in and out of the chat. Got a buddy of mine, Jordan, joining us today. Mr. Bitcoin from
South
back
Texas
in,
oil, man.
2012. We got Tejano Brown tuning in from Midland. What's up, Tejano Brown?
Hold on, guys.
What time do y'all head over to Charlo's?
As soon as we're done here, man, I'm gonna take off that way and hopefully get my favorite table. It's a wooden table.
I mean, they kind of have to give you your favorite table there, right? You are the patron saint of Charlotte.
Should put me on some type of Catholic candle.
Figure it out. You probably should make your own and just take it there.
Yeah, my mom is going to Alaska here, like in May, and Carlos is going with her, and she was telling my mom that I bring her a fuckload of customers. I was like, that's pretty, I guess.
Can y'all hear us?
Now we can.
No,
we got all the sluts from Tulsa calling in for the first time in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Congrats on $130 oil, boys.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, bro.
How are y'all celebrating up there?
Right here.
What is that?
Blackout drunk tonight.
Little Russia there.
Wow, that's the progress you've made already, huh?
Yeah. Got the last bottle before they took it down. Poured it out.
It makes a pretty good Molotov cocktail too.
Yeah.
It's got some girth to it. Like, I bet that bottle's aerodynamics are not quite as good as like a Stoli bottle, but I think you could really get the shot put launcher going with that one.
Looks like it's made out of like 3/4 inch glass too. It's pretty solid.
Looks like
it will
with
smash. It'll smash well against a T-72 fucking hat.
Oh, tell them
Burn that motherfucker
the
down.
Bacardi story about vodka in Russia.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know if you guys remember. It was like back in the '90s, but Bacardi got busted, and they were shipping 55-gallon drums of window washer fluid to Russia, and it was fucking vodka. They would get it, they would dye it blue, and then when it got there, they'd remove the blue dye and they'd put vodka flavoring in it, and it was basically like a way to dodge their alcohol taxes that they do, I guess, even. And Bacardi ended up paying like a $500 million fine or something. They were moving it was like a quarter of the vodka in Russia was bootlegged from Bacardi, made in the U.S. and shipped over there.
That's hilarious.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, but what's $500 billion or whatever Bacardi, like one spring break in Tampa, Florida?
Yeah, no, that's right. Just think it's hilarious that we were bootlegging vodka to Russia from the United States as window washer fluid.
Apparently, we made a bunch of the Germans' ammo over here in Canada. I think Browning made it, and then they shipped it up the St. Lawrence and over to Germany. So people have been doing that forever.
Who else is sitting there, intern?
WTX and Hot Dog are in the waiting room.
You guys check in with what those guys are up to real quick? Did we lose Tulsa?
Yeah.
Apparently, we've lost Tulsa.
They're back.
Tulsa, there is a problem. Let's see what Hot Dog's up to, because you know that guy's always on a short time frame.
Hot Dog, can you hear us?
What's up, Hot Dog? He's probably on a conference call buying another, 100 wells to produce 100 barrels a day.
Oh, those guys.
Oh, we lost him.
Yeah, I follow this guy on Instagram, and he's like constantly raving about these like 10 and 20 barrel stripper wells. I'm like, man, hey, the economics still went up the same amount as everybody else's. So.
He needs to start buying some hats, dude.
He does. I'll turn him onto that. I think it's like Norwood Energy or something.
WTX, what are you doing, man? Oh, there he is.
Trying to get my Bluetooth going.
You got it, boy.
Yeah, it's on. My Bluetooth's not working, so getting on I-20 and heading to Midland as fast as I think the state of Texas will allow me.
Yes, your gas pedal's working. I can hear it.
Yeah, a little wide open throttle never hurt anybody.
Nope, just some Democrats.
What have you been working on these days, man?
God damn it. I'm having trouble hearing you.
Just working on your Bluetooth, I guess.
Yeah.
What are you working on these days?
Busy week. I was in Oklahoma for the weekend, and we traveled back on Tuesday. So having a 3-day work week is. I'm still not caught up. At some point, you just got to say, "Fuck it." That's enough. That's what's getting done. Is what got done today. So,
did you and Scooter ever actually meet up? Or did y'all just like in the night with a bag of crawfish?
Yeah, no, he hooked me up with the seafood place in Oklahoma City, and that place was legit. Like I was expecting to walk in and just kind of be a madhouse seafood place, and as soon as I walked in, it just could tell by looking at me. Thought, "You got a bag of crawfish reserved?" Yeah, and it was a really good, clean, large crawfish. I would recommend anybody go there.
Wow. Did they mark your price up for forecasting $55 oil a couple months ago?
I don't know. I think so. $5 or $5.50 a pound seemed a little stiff.
They looked at you and they said, "You're not from around here, boy."
Yeah, that price they better look like baby lobsters.
Yeah, I was wearing my make oil $55 a barrel again hat.
Oh, God. You're lucky they didn't throw a bag over your head full of baiters.
Who would have thought you could have just stick a 1 in front of those two 5s and it'd be relevant again?
No doubt.
I mean, seriously, that's the truth, man.
That's the truth.
Hey, so Bird, we were talking about it a little bit last week, and I guess maybe the week before, but if Europe were to cease buying Russian gas, is there enough LNG capacity in the world to support them? Because I don't think that there is. And I don't think that there really will be at any point in the near future. We can't hear y'all. Did they mute
Nope.
the Tulsa guys?
I think it when they dropped off for a second, it messed up again.
They're always having technical difficulties up there in Tulsa.
Restart Tulsa.
Audio input settings.
Yeah, we can get that going until they jump back in. I'm not going to answer that question, Chris, but I did hear that what's the CEO of Cheniere? I never can remember his name, but he said that they're maxed out. Like it's I guess Sabine Pass, Corpus Christi is loading ships as fast as they can. So I don't know if they're constrained on ship capacity or plane capacity or how fast they can load the ships, but it's they're doing 100% of what they can do.
I had a guy give me a little insight into that last week. He said that they're maxed out at the loading, and that they're trying to get another offshore terminal or something. What do you call that? A connection with the ships, and that they're hoping to get that expedited through all of this. But good luck.
Did they get the one built offshore outside of Corpus? There's supposed to be one like many miles offshore that they're supposed to be able to get the VLCCs loaded from.
I don't think that's finished yet.
From my understanding, that's around the corner. It's almost done, but I don't think it's done. I think
Can you
that's
hear
a Zach project.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Not enough LNG. Well, wasn't someone telling us that in Europe there's plenty of capacity to offload, just not enough to bring it in, right? That was.
I don't even know if that's true. I mean, I know Germany said that they're trying to build 2 new LNG import terminals in the next 2 years so that they would have enough capacity to offload. So it makes you think they don't have enough capacity to offload at this point.
Maybe they shouldn't have shut down their fucking nuclear plants first.
Can I add on that? Germany doesn't have any import terminals at all, actually. They don't have a single one.
I know.
So when you say 2 new ones, you mean like 2.
2 total.
Like 2.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the most prosperous country in Europe that literally doesn't have a way to buy energy other than from Russia. I like it.
Being the most prosperous country in Europe at this point, it's like being the big bird in the cesspool.
Yeah, it's like being the Ivory Coast in Africa or something, right?
Yeah, just that whole goddamn continent is fucked.
Amen,
They deserve
brother.
So
We're gonna need Tejano Brown to start working 48-hour shifts back to back nonstop for the rest of his fucking life to provide Europe with enough gas.
But
I saw that.
Okay.
Boris, I guess, is gonna lift up whatever fracking bans they had over there in the UK and all that stuff. So
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that.
Is that even possible
It's
for
not even
him
possible.
to do that?
I think they'd get so much backlash from the
mainstream
portions
media
of the
is
general
just
public
gonna
and-
fucking
the
crucify
next
him.
fucking administration comes in, and then they're going to cancel your shit and make you shut it down. I
Before
mean,
you can even
who
start
the
it.
fuck's going to do it? Like, it's like,
Hey.
Maybe we should send Joe Biden over there to straighten them out.
Well, nothing's done in England or the Great Britain without the concession of the Queen. So if she's on board, it'll happen. But she owns all of the unicorns in the whole world. Keep that in mind.
She's probably a good source of renewable methane emissions.
Methane. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
hey, she should be good to go after taking ivermectin. So
When TB had COVID, he was on ivermectin, and he said it made him gassy as fuck.
I had a similar experience.
it makes sense. It's originally for parasites, so I guess it's just a big ass system flush or whatever. It did the same thing to my chick as well. So
Well, I was gonna say it cleaned me out like top to bottom. So
oh yeah, dude. Hey, I remember I said this last Sunday whenever the international markets opened up and WTI and Brent just skyrocketed, that come Monday morning that this administration was going to do everything in their power to have the biggest campaign against the oil and gas industry. And it has slowly been taken off, and every single day their rhetoric is becoming more and more anti-fossil fuels. I mean, the bullshit they're making up with, the 9,000 permits, and now it changed to 7,000 permits. And then this is fucking Putin's fault with his price hike. And, the corporate stuff, like I was really like, when I heard them, like I see the pictures where they talk about 7 years is the highest profits they've ever made. It all makes fucking sense, dude. Fucking 7 years ago, 2015 crash, tanked to just right a little bit over $26. I got laid off. They shut down Pioneer Wireline down. I was out of work maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks. But man, nobody was fucking making money. Dude. I remember stage prices plummeting as low, like people were coming in just to be able to move trucks and everything, like $1,200 a stage, dude. And, I mean, during that time, that was fucking absolutely unheard of, especially for horizontal work. So, I mean, this whole entire past 7 years, I know BRVs has talked about it before, right when I first came on to fucking money, they shorted out all these fucking shit codes and everything. And now that everything's fucking skyrocketing, they're fucking talking about, oh, highest profit in 7 years. Well, fucking course, man. It's simple fucking math. It's like, use your fucking head for once in your life instead of listening to this fucking dumbass administration and Jen Psaki and all this stuff. I mean, higher prices are obviously going to equal out to higher profit margins.
Well, they wanted to incentive to produce oil. That's the very basis of it. They don't care. They don't care about markets. They're socialists. They're Marxists.
I still feel like that they want to pretty much limit our mobility throughout the United States. They want 100%. I mean, they want to make it to where energy is 100% affordable for the middle class, which I'm like upper middle class. And they want us to fucking huddle down. That's what they were trying to do with the COVID lockdowns. And now I feel like, I mean, call me conspiracy theory or whatever. I think we're gonna start getting like climate lockdowns and all this shit, dude.
Well, that's the future, man. The globalist low energy future, because that means that they can control people. People won't have to ride a bike, so it limits your ability to work. So they've been talking about this since I think the 1920s and certainly the 50s that the world would be far better off and that they could control population growth if they just lowered the energy use, because then basically people are freezing half the year and nobody uses anything. So, it's great if you're a globalist, you want to take over the world, but not some middle class guy like the rest of us.
Yeah, I'll touch back on what Chris said. Europe is so fucked, dude. The whole entire continent.
Which is awesome, though, right?
It is. Expound on that sentiment.
Fuck. Oh, it's crazy, dude.
Fuckers over there. I'll come.
I think a lot of people are just happy to see that people are finally facing consequences for poor decision making.
Yeah, but they're trying. The average person. I mean, they eat up all this shit and they're able to sway them, saying that they're pointing the finger at us when, I mean, everything, their failed energy policies is and everything that's going on is a direct result of what they're fucking doing right now. And people just turn around and like, oh, greedy oil companies, blah blah blah, conservatives evil, blah blah blah, orange man bad, all that kind of crap.
You're right. The narrative's been in place since the 50s. Capitalism is evil, despite the fact that it's like fed the whole world, population, brought us up all to a great standard of living. But, capitalism's bad. Then they won't get off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think when you think about it, like the whole windfall profit tax thing, like I was thinking about that. And, think about, the manipulated oil price. I was like, 100 million barrels of oil across the globe every day, and 10 times as many paper contracts get traded as physical. And so, like, you're talking about like literally trillions of dollars that you would have to be able to manipulate. And I was thinking about it, with the amount of volume that's in that, that's in the system right now. It's like if you put a windfall profit tax, think about the fact that everybody that's got 50% of their volumes hedged for 4 months, right? Like you would basically not only completely destroy all of the producers because of those hedges, right? Because basically the only way you're going to make money on your hedges is that you created enough profit on the rest of your unhedged volume.
I'll get it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That looked really bad on video.
Pay your hedges, and so basically all the financial institutions are on the other side of those contracts would probably implode too. So you would literally blow the whole system up. You take the producers down, you take the financial institutions down. Like the whole system would implode if you tried to put a windfall profit tax in.
I think it's
Is it just the vol that's going to blow it up?
bats.
The short-term volatility, or what's going to blow it up? Just structural disconnects between the buy and sell side?
Well, no, because I'm saying like everybody that has hedges in place, right? Like your hedge goes in the money, like because your production that you're unhedged on is up, right? So if you've hedged 50% and the price of oil goes up $20, then the 50% of unhedged is how you have the money to pay the hedges on the other side of the contract, right?
Yeah, that's the hedge. Yeah.
Your asset or your liability is somebody else's asset. And so if they wipe out your asset and subsequently your liability and somebody else's asset, like you've actually killed the whole system on both sides, right? Like, and so everybody that has exposure on their side loses money. Everybody that has exposure on your side loses money. So the producers and the financial institution counterparties, like, both blow up to the tune of, like, you know, I don't know. It could be trillions of dollars. Who knows how big that market is? It's enormous. I mean, it might be the biggest market in the world, right? Like oil futures, you're trading, 100 million barrels a day at 10x paper contracts, right? So trillions of dollars a day. How much of that is being held on somebody's balance sheet, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. So the JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, all those people are the counterparties. So you would literally blow the whole system up if you put a windfall profit tax in place.
Nice.
And there's no way she doesn't know that. She knows it. They all know it. It's just saying it. It's just saying it because that makes the fucking crowd happy.
Okay, so now that we're talking about political shit, what are you guys doing to produce more to save America from high gas prices?
Fucking come to work.
We got a drilling rig.
Yeah, we're drilling wells.
But they're shut down because the crew took off. We pay them $12 a foot, and there's somebody paying them $32 a foot.
Yeah, so they leave all the time.
Yeah, so anytime those guys need them, they just like leave our location, and they'll be like, "Oh, we'll be back in a week to drill the rest of this hole."
we'll be back at midnight to do the night shift.
Yeah, we submitted resumes here at work to see who could run the handle and who could run the tongs and stuff. So
we might trying to figure the rigs literally stood up.
Oh my god!
Are y'all gonna get Kitty out there to throw tongs again?
Yes, he's actually not considered. Kitty. Never mind, he's not considered.
Kitty is off the list.
Hey, Chris, is all your stuff vertical wells?
Yeah. We
own some.
We own some horizontals, and we participate in some horizontals. We have been.
We don't drill,
but we don't drill them ourselves. Yeah, we don't fuck with that. The only way to do that is to have institutional capital. If you do that, then you basically let the devil in, and eventually they'll screw you over and kick you out of your own business.
Yeah, you got me an institutional capital. What a joke.
Yeah. Don't ever let institutional capital in.
No. Then you got ESG fund guys, blah, blah, blah. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, hey, real question, real quick. What do you, and I'm not promoting this, what has everyone thought on automation related to these oil rigs? Is that going to promote, do you think that that's going to take off more? I know there are a couple companies that have fully automated rigs that are currently running in the Permian.
You could say it solves an employee problem, but every automation thing I've ever fucked with needs a tech.
Yeah.
Right?
Techs are expensive.
Yeah.
Well, and for an automated rig, that's not just a tech. That's literally somebody that has to go out there and fix the shit when it breaks, because you have to have a field maintenance crew as well.
Yeah.
Because that thing is not going to run 100% of the time.
Right. No. I mean, ideally it would. You have redundancy, but you're right. You're going to have dirty hands guys in huts waiting on the machines to break.
NASA has redundancies, and their shit still blows up.
And they also have guys in machine sheds waiting for the stuff to break to go fix it. So
yeah, you're still going to have automation techs and mechanics and millwrights and stuff, welders and stuff like that. That's going to have to. That's exactly like get their hands dirty. But those guys are probably going to get paid a little bit better than a roughneck would or a roustabout would.
We're super fucked when the robots start unionizing. You know?
Well, they'll all be owned by a guy named Elon Musk, so the union's been created.
Skynet or what?
What Cyberdyne? Somewhere in between the two.
Yeah, Cyberdyne Systems.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all have a drilling rig. You're drilling 1 or 2 days a week. What are y'all doing to save the people of Ukraine?
Gates, God.
Buying assets from shitty operators.
Yeah, we closed the deal this week.
Yeah.
Nice.
Start a wireline company so I can go work for you guys.
You know what I'll never do again? I will never start another. Yeah, fuck service.
Never, ever service. We have a trucking company. It's the bane of our existence. I fucking hate it.
Do you know where all your trucks are currently located?
No.
Never.
No.
They lost a truck one time.
Dude, why pay for GPS when you can just trust people? God.
They left it on the side of the road.
Yeah, we lost
Somebody
our,
was supposed to pick it up later.
Most expensive. I think they call that being stolen. I think that was stolen from you guys.
No, we found it.
We found
It
it.
was just temporarily
We
misplaced.
found it. I mean, it'd all been junked
It's
up.
like
and it's full of
when
Fritos
you wake
wrappers.
up and you don't know what you did the night before. Your car's not in the driveway.
Exactly. It's in your
Yeah,
neighbor's
dude,
lawn.
where's my pump truck? That'd be a great video.
Yeah, dude, where's my wireline rig? I don't know. Quick story. I mean, 1 second. I had an uncle who 20 years ago, Chesapeake left a bunch of equipment out on his property in the middle of a lawsuit he had with him over the holidays, saying, "Hey, we really don't want to have to drive this back to Houston. Could we just park it out here?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." As soon as they left, he called the sheriff, foreclosed on all of it, and Chesapeake had to write him a huge check, and that solved the lawsuit.
No, he had a fenced-in secure yard.
Oh, that's
he
right.
said,
That's
"Guys, y'all can leave your equipment here over the holidays, so you don't have to drive your equipment, 5 hours back to home base or whatever." And so they put their own lock on his yard and left. And then he called the sheriff and said, "These guys are trespassing. I want to file a lien against them for pending litigation and everything, and I want to seize their equipment." Cut the lock off, changed it to his own lock, and they came back and he said, "I own your shit now, so you can either pay me or I own all of your equipment."
Yeah. And there's like 20 wireline trucks or something, if I remember correctly.
Anybody
Well,
that
give
fucks
that
Chesapeake's my hero. Absolutely.
I know, dude. That's why I repeat the story. If it's anybody else, I'd keep my mouth shut to eternity. But
God.
still, my favorite hats Gase has made.
That was
Yep.
the OG, man.
It's the top one.
We sent quite a few of those up to Oklahoma. They never really caught on down here, though.
People didn't have the same hatred for the people down here as they did up there.
I mean, honestly, I probably just need to go ahead and send one of those hats and a sticker to every person on the Chesapeake board
I'll
and
pay the
just see what
shipping.
happens.
Yeah, I'll split that with you right now. Done.
I mean, we got a rise out of fucking ERCOT
Yeah.
doing that, so
No, 90s is here finally.
finally. What's going on, 90s?
You may be having audio input.
When I hear 90s name, I just think like $90 oil. Like, I know. I'm like,
Hell
90s.
yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. 90s were awesome. You know, it's better, the 110s.
Don Jr.
We're not going to stop.
Not stopping.
Hell no. We're not going to stop. We won't stop.
No, can't stop, won't stop.
But
But if
Hey, that's what I was telling Tejano Brown yesterday. It's like Miley Cyrus is playing in the background. I came in like a red.
man, for 100 plus oil, I need something to fucking rage to, like some Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's not no joke. Even some Slipknot or something.
I don't know who the.
I can't read that. My vision's shit and I'm drunk.
I'm getting
Mine's
there.
not-
Oh, it's probably Lindsay. She always fucks around with her name.
That was probably Putin Jr.
Putin
Probably.
Jr. is like the best name ever, by the way.
Hey, 90s, what are you up to these days?
So work. Having to take a vacation day just to spend some time with the family, but just dreaming about being in Midland with y'all. I see everybody's getting tickets to go that way.
I mean, Hot Dog's going to be out there.
It'd be a hot dog extravaganza.
I can tell you the truth though. I've actually been out on the street corner banging a trash can, trying to talk about the Keystone Pipeline and how that it's actually in service. And what you really want to talk about is the XL.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know the difference. You got them at Pipeline. I think it's like a straw that takes the Slurpee from the cup to their mouth.
Look, I've hit every bar and every CVS and Walgreens with old people sitting in it, and I will make them learn it here, at least on the Gulf Coast. So if I have to be like Sesame Street for old people, I'm there.
So you do what I do. You go into the grocery store and you tell people you love Biden because oil's $200.
I would think that at this point in time, Anheuser-Busch would have gone ahead and come out with a Keystone XL beer.
Oh my gosh!
So that they could say Keystone XL, finally in service.
Oh my gosh, Gates!
Like, why haven't they done that? Who the fuck is in charge of marketing for these idiots?
I thought we know people. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I can't believe they hadn't done that.
Why wouldn't they?
Is that a 48-inch pipeline? How big's Keystone XL? Just chain ounces to inches.
Yeah.
A can.
Anheuser probably wouldn't do that because it's a Coors beer. That's probably why Anheuser.
Oh, Molson Coors, yeah.
Okay, well, now maybe I'm going to have to say it makes sense.
Well, Molson, Canadian company, it's in their interest, right? They got to ship that tar sands down here.
Molson doesn't have that much controlling interest, I don't think.
I think Molson's the main partner with Coors in the United States. Molson brews, from my understanding, Coors beer in Canada, and Coors brews Molson beer in the United States. I might be wrong about that.
Fuck, we're drinking Yingling right now.
But I have been to the Coors factory tour enough times to be very drunk numerous times.
That's a good story.
It is a great story.
Yeah, other than that, I will say this, though. This is a little tidbit. For the Gulf Coast, we are running rates like we don't run unless it's summertime. This is insane. The amount of demand and the tanks not going up has got, and you can see that in the numbers that India put out for their demand for gasoline and stuff. Those same numbers you're going to see here for America. We don't give a fuck. We're going to drive. And I'm telling you, it's happening right now. And the only problem I have is once we do the summer blends, guys, I don't know. There's going to be less gasoline, not more, because we can't hide a lot of those light ends in this. We can do it in the winter blends. We can't do it in the summer blends. So get ready. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse, guys.
What's going to happen to condensate?
Shoot, we'll be running it like gasoline. They're going to be, these rednecks are going to be putting like propane and, a little carburetor on the top, and they're going to be doing what they can to make it work.
Shit, I was thinking Boeing's going to make a condensate plane, Fuck wind energy.
NGLs are going to keep ripping, dude. Propane.
Yeah.
90s, it's going to be pretty sad when we lose you because the Biden administration imposes production quotas and price controls at the same time. And you get changed to your workstation. You're not allowed out but 1 hour a day.
All I know is that I live in Texas, and I just don't think they got what it takes to take it over and make that happen. Too many guns. Too many guns.
I agree.
Cheers to that, man.
Cheers.
I'll drink to that all day long.
Here comes all the Texas.
Yeah, we always like to talk the Atlas Shrugged situation.
I'm glad you finally finished that book, by the way.
I finished it in
How many years did it take you? I'll admit, I think it took me 2.
While I was unemployed.
That's worse. That's worse.
No, honestly, I didn't really like that book. It was kind of like, it was like the same thing, like over and over and over again. It's like, yeah, okay, I get it. Like, I get it. It's like just beating you over the head with the same fucking story,
Well, it was
Right.
written by a woman, so
That's how you
what do
used to have
expect?
to write to people. You used to have to say it 80 times so they wouldn't believe you. So
But, the whole idea that the government, tries to put in production quotas, do all this management, and then everybody just disappears.
Okay, so what Bird was saying, intern, you're not married yet, so you will know at some point in time when you hear, did you take the trash out yet? That means she's probably asked you 10 times in her mind. She may have only said it once, but
or not at all.
I've lived by myself long enough that I'm pretty good at taking up the trash.
Well, good for you, man.
You self-motivate like that, yeah. And deprecate.
When is Mrs. Buddy Stewart Wade going to join us again?
She's sitting right here.
Well, cheers to her.
She's on the ground. There she is.
Oh, man.
Look,
I should
what
say
I just
cheers
heard
to her.
was,
Somebody
hey,
get
what I
her a
just heard
chair,
was, you're cool,
$130
but
oil.
she's cooler.
$130 oil. Y'all can afford to get her a chair.
Yeah, you said it.
Thank you. Did you see the chair that we got here for Scooter?
Is that a religious thing you got going up there, like the Iran?
That looks like a retro gaming chair if I've ever seen one.
Oh, it's straight
Back-
from 62 or whatever
Yeah,
the hell.
it's
Yeah.
straight out
Back-
of Grandpa's old office. No
Yeah.
shit.
Back when the game was bridge.
Yeah.
Dominoes and bridge, yeah.
His wedding.
Okay, at $150 oil, I think we're gonna have to get you guys one of these custom-made drilling rig bars for your
Are
office.
we getting the bar? We're getting the bar.
Well, I think y'all are buying the bar, but
Well-
we're gonna facilitate y'all buying the bar.
Yeah.
E-bar in Midland. Is that what we're talking about?
That would actually be a really awesome
Probably
investment.
cost about the same amount if oil was a little lower.
This is true.
True. Oil's high. Everything's expensive now.
I mean,
you know?
dude, I could probably sell that thing for double the money right now
You could
because of
it's
the
oil
fucking
related.
material.
Because it's oil related too.
No,
People
I
are
was
like,
thinking
"Oh,
about
yeah."
the price of fucking steel and everything.
Dude, give a guy an oil and gas $10, he'll spend 30. So you know, we're
We could probably
there.
drill well with
I'm
it,
about
too.
to go get an
Yeah, that's
F550 truck.
Fuck yeah, Raptor converted.
Raptor F550, one off, like a sultan, the king of little Iraq. You know.
So, with everything going on, I guess, has Russia, they have until the end of the month, is that right, to figure out what they're going to ban for exports on their commodities and everything? Is that what Putin set up?
I think so. I think that was the timeline he gave. But
I think
I'm
it was
just
like the 31st, right?
yeah, I'm just hoping it's fertilizer because I bought some nutrient calls today. So
God. So, my question is, like, with Russia and Ukraine pretty much on the sidelines in terms of exports for global trade and everything, we were already having a lot of issues. That shit's only going to get worse. You add in a shortage of energy into the global supply and already high inflation. How much worse can it fucking get?
dude, I think people are missing one of the big items, and it's fertilizer, dude. I mean, you know, you can't, like, Russia and Ukraine export more fertilizer combined than anybody, and then throw in the fact that Western Europe can't afford to make ammonia because they can't afford to buy natural gas, right? So, like, in-game shit, fucking shut the gas off to Europe, stop exporting fertilizer. Nobody has any fucking fertilizer across the whole goddamn world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, and the interesting thing about that too is if you look at who Putin met with before shit hit the fan, it was Xi, it was Bolsonaro out of Brazil, and our president. And then, you know, how the fuck did he fuck Brazil and Argentina? Like, who gives a shit? And it's like the ag exporters, right? Like, basically, he's like, hey, here's the deal. Like, I'm gonna take care of you guys. Like, you know, China, Brazil, and Argentina, and us. Like, we're gonna fucking tag team, but everybody else is fucked. That's my going. So, like, you know, what does the world look like when fertilizer is not available? Pretty weird.
Chaos.
Well, I got a hand in farming, and everybody around me farms, and I'm probably looking this year at not planting any grass I was going to plant. I'm sitting on probably $20,000 of grass seed that's going to sit and probably all get ruined, but it's cheaper than planting it. And I mean pasture grass, you know, for cattle. And then
How much is Joe Biden going to pay you to not plant it?
Oh, shit, probably more than I'd ever make planting the grass. Let's be real.
Look,
Bingo.
Joe Biden isn't Carter. You're asking too much.
You'd be surprised, man. You know, farmers, I'll be honest, and I'm not trying to offend anybody. Farmers are the biggest welfare recipients on earth, and it makes me proud because at least they're related to my interest. They're familiar. But no, I see a lot of people not planting this year. And my concern, honestly, fertilizer price. So Ukraine owns, I think it's like 30% of the wheat export.
Yeah. Well, no, it's Ukraine and Russia are about a third of the world's supply.
Okay. Well, from my understanding, I think the free export of grain into the rest of the world that isn't consumed by the countries that grow it, Ukraine's the largest, and I think they produce 30% of the free export of grain in the world. And the problem is that most of that grain is imported by Asia. And so if you just look at the knock-on effects here negatively, the compound effects, there's going to be a massive famine in Asia sometime in the next couple of years because fertilizer prices are high, and any sort of weather, pattern issue.
It's called climate change, bro.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly.
Call it what it is.
Well, buy me a Tesla and I'll call it climate change.
It
for
used to
5
be
cents.
Say
called
its
global warming.
name. Say its name.
Yeah, exactly.
This is all to say you better plant a fucking garden.
Yeah,
No shit. You better convert your fucking bushes in your backyard to a fucking garden.
So I just had this conversation with my wife. I was like, now you fucking know why I built that giant ass goddamn vegetable garden in the back because it's game time. Yep. And she's like, oh, you mean one fucking dog just completely ripped out? Like, I went back there, the dog had completely ripped all my fucking like lines that I run, the drip irrigation. The dog just shredded it, like shredded the whole goddamn thing.
Barbecue that motherfucker.
There's a
goddamn Russian.
Well, at least you know you
exactly.
put your dog in and sabotage other
Fucking
people's
Russian dog shouldn't have bought a Russian dog.
There's a neighborhood in San Antonio that is notorious for having a large amount of white-tailed deer. So I think there may be an increase.
Are we going to start harvesting?
Poaching activities?
We won't name
poaching,
the neighborhood for legal reasons, but pathetically, there might be a harvest area in North San Antonio.
I'll bring the deer blind out there into the backyard.
Can I say something real quick? Real quick, guys. I don't know what y'all are going to eat, but I got a hog problem down south in the marshland. Trust me, we'll have plenty of pork for everybody.
Oh, the only people that'll survive are coon asses.
You better believe it. We'll eat it if it moves.
Hey, I'd be digging mud bugs with you. So.
Like, hey, this boudin tastes a little weird. Don't ask.
Tell me the truth.
He's eating one. There's no way he hadn't.
90s, you've eaten a Nutri-Rat, haven't you?
A Nutri-Rat?
Not 90s has eaten many things, pickled and not pickled, maybe even barbecued. So yes, but I don't think I'd eat Nutra pickled. I will admit that.
I think you would have to really, really barbecue those teeth to get them to the point where you could just nibble on it a little bit. You know?
How do you cook that Nutra? You cook it like that Thai food or some sort of Asian curry?
Look, you do that at the Chinese food restaurant. That's what they use. When you kind of come cook with me, you just kind of barbecue it and you tell the kids that it's something, good. It's something exotic. They don't know the difference.
You have your finger on the pulse. That's coming back. Those bring it in and cook it restaurants. That's going to be a thing again, right? Yep. Bring it in, we'll cook it.
Look, there's a lot of horses out there too. Trust me, that horse meat's good.
Oh my god.
And let's be real, we got to cut down on the methane emissions. So let's kill all the horses. Right?
Dude, you know who hates horses more than anybody? People who own horses. So it's not hard to get those people to convince you to get rid of a horse. You're like, that horse. But if it really never likes you.
If we kill all the horses,
the feed prices go up, it's game over. It's time to eat.
Game over. My uncle has joked for years that he could have a professional service where he goes around and whacks people's horses for them just so that their kids don't, get too upset up front. He's like, I'd make millions. I'm like, well, it'd be a good one. I know a couple women who have too many horses. Their parents would pay a lot to disappear those animals.
Horses are big problems and big costs. That's why I say anything with hoofs or, well, there might be ladies in the room. Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
It can eat more than me. There's a problem.
All right, so we've covered kind of the issue with fertilizer and everything, but
I will say this though, real quick. What are gas prices up towards San Antonio, up north towards Oklahoma? Because I'm seeing $4.99 diesel on the Gulf Coast right now.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
we're at $4 for regular unleaded.
Yeah, I mean, I paid $3.79 earlier this week.
$3.99 gas, $4.99 diesel. It's not shocking to me, but it's interesting.
I'm fine with that.
I'm
fine with that.
Every time. It's $100. Fucking throw a $100 bill in there, and that's all.
That, and you talk about fertilizer. I bet. BRV knows that there was a big question why Exxon bought fertilizer plants long ago, and they had like a quick run to get fertilizer plants. I just think Exxon was like 40 years early.
Well, Occidental was in the fertilizer business funding the Soviet Union back in the day.
Yeah.
How does nobody fucking know this? Intern, have you finished that book yet?
No.
God damn it.
Well, next you're going to be talking about Bayer and all them other German companies, BASF. I mean, there's a lot of they're just companies, man. They're just trying to give shareholders money. Come on.
Yeah,
No,
Dow.
I'm talking about Occidental Petroleum was set up to fund Soviet projects worldwide.
It still is. They drill for oil in California. Goddamn Soviets.
I read the intro to that book, and I was like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, you read it, and you're like, this is fake. And then every single chapter, you go, holy fuck,
Armand
Hammer.
And I fucking knew that guy.
Yeah, you realize that Armie Hammer's grandpa, was like in the thick with the globalists screwing the world over. Crazy bastards, man.
They lived in Los Angeles, man. What do you expect, bro?
Dude, Armie Hammer used to have my tweets.
This is going to be the last stand down. I can see it already. The Rothschilds are coming for us.
Well, that's the only shot I'll get, motherfuckers.
Well, you got to get me in prison first before you can suicide.
Right here.
I mean, what is it? The Queen, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, the
Clintons.
The fucking the secret society that runs the
Rockefellers.
world.
You meant Rockefellers, right?
The lizard.
No.
Yeah, just take the name of every art museum in the country. Those people.
Illuminati's.
Well, have you seen the
Guggenheims?
So I Married an Axe Murderer. Have you ever seen that movie? Mike Myers.
No, that sounds excellent.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about then, right?
Is it where the dad goes off or where is it Mike goes off? I forget. I can't remember what part that is. And there's like this whole discussion in there.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. The people that run the world, the Queen, the Gettys, the Rothschilds. Anyway, we've hit several of them.
It's true.
This conversation probably sounds very strange to Alberta Garbage, who's sitting here probably waiting to take himself off of mute so that he can chime in on all things.
Man, I haven't heard him in a Twitter space in a while. Where's he been?
I've been working, man.
There he is.
I've been out straight. Man. I've been up at site. I had a cursed well that I was working on.
How many days were y'all working on that?
On completions, 41.
Whoa.
So
will you fill everybody in on what was going on with that? Because I've kind of heard a little bit during that process, but.
Okay, so this well was cursed. I don't exactly know why it was cursed or by what mechanism it was cursed, but it was in fact cursed. So it started out, oh man, the first thing that happened was somebody went in and stole the tubing transfer off the rig before it even fired up. So for those unaware, on a slant rig, you've got your blocks and you've got like elevators.
I know.
But you have to have a transfer to pick the tubing up out of the derrick because the derrick's on a 45, and so you use this transfer. It's just sort of like a set of elevators, but you lift the tubing up with it. So someone stole the transfer, which we have speculations on who we think did that, because that is a diabolical thing to fuck over a slant rig. It's kind of impressive.
That's impressive is the word used to be able to steal that.
Is that like the last one you fired? Probably, naturally, you'd assume that.
I can say it's not an environmentalist.
It was the tool push. They think it was the tool push that had got run off because he was a crackhead.
For sure, man.
That makes sense.
Think how much
crackhead took your shit.
Yeah.
God, you should have just paid him in crack. God.
So anyway, so it started with this. Then there was all these fuck arounds pulling the shit out, and then when they were drilling it, they were doing a sidetrack on it. It was an existing well. They were sidetracking it because they hadn't done the lateral right. And so the drilling rig got stuck in the hole. They took repeated steam kicks. It was really bad. They'd be drilling, they'd lose circ. The mud would just disappear into the hole, and then steam would just come flying out at them. It was real nasty. Then they got liners stuck. They got the liners stuck way high, 300 meters high, and then they ran in this patch liner for the toe, and they got that stuck too. And then they handed it over to us, and oh my God, then it turned to be like minus 40, minus 50. And we managed to, oh, what did we do? God, we did awful things to that well. I mean, if that well was a girl, you'd never want to fuck her. Ever.
Did you bring the Catholic priest out, though, for last rites?
Jesus H. Christ. Well, no, the worst part of the whole goddamn thing is this well is now a high producer. And they want to do more of them. They want to fucking do more of them.
So you found a new best practice for the whole industry.
Oh, Christ on a crush. So anyway, so we get onto this well, and first we're running this instrument coil out to the toe, so we parted coil at surface, like between the coil and the injector. We snapped it in half because it was used coil, because of course we're running used coil that we took out of another well.
And then a production string, like a siphon string, and then you fucking pulled it out and ran it on the coil unit?
No, this is DTS coil, or like instrumentation coil. It's got thermocouples and shit in it. Because you're well, so you got to know your temperatures. Blah 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 blah.
What's that made out of? Just curious.
The DTS coil.
Yeah, with the thermocouplers or probes in it.
Well, there's like there's like 1 1/4 coil with a bullnose welded on the end of it, and then inside it they pump these 2 1/4-inch cap lines down it, and then it might actually be fiber, but there's different coils that they use up there. The second coil we used was DTS. The first one was something else, some Weatherford shit. I don't know. It's discontinued anyway. So fucking the second coil, we ran the second coil in this fucking thing, and then we blew up the fucking injector because it was minus 40, and it was so goddamn cold, the hydraulic oil is like fucking honey. And we piled up the fucking inner chain, the inner chain on a coil injector, you got the outer drive chain, and you got the inner gripper chain. We piled that fucking thing up. So then we had to sit 80 meters in the hole for like a day and a half waiting on parts, and then waiting them standing in minus fucking 40 to rebuild this fucking coil injector. So we got that rebuilt, and then we go to run this ESP in, and they're like, run the ESP into the liner, and we're like, boy, I don't think that's a good idea with everything we got going on here. They're like, no, we got 12 millimeters clearance, that's good enough.
That's what she said.
And it's freezing, right? It's still freezing?
Oh, it's always minus 30.
Yeah, 12 millimeters is a lot when everything's covered in shit, right?
Oh, man, this is downhole on a thermal well, So we run this fucker in, and it gets fucking planted. It gets planted at like 370 meters. Well, I'll just pull it up and land it there. That's good enough. We made it fucking, 18 inches. And the ESP cable starts dragging down the pipe. And we're like, oh, we're fucked. Oh, fuck me. And so then we test the ESP cable. It's no good anymore. And they're like, well, pull it out and put new cable on it. So we're like, okay. Fuck. We pulled about 10 feet, and we're pulling 25 decks. Sorry, decks. We're pulling... I'm talking in Canadian. What the fuck do you guys use on your EDRs? Use tons? Use kips?
I would assume.
Pounds.
Use pounds. Okay, we're pulling like 55,000 pounds.
Oh wow.
On a fucking tubing string, that string weight is 8,000 pounds.
God.
Yeah.
Did it?
So we're only over pulling by 47,000 pounds in 10 feet.
That's insanity. That's absolute physics math insanity, right? I mean, somebody else who does this or actually does this.
You need to check the returns pit on this well. I think there's Indian bones and skulls.
The think we might have lost Alberta.
The
And then-
battleground.
and then-
It was getting to the good part.
It's like
Oh.
the Transocean rig where he finds the fucking
Canadian cell service.
Yeah,
Trudeau
they'll come
shut
up
him
with
down.
a mammoth bone or something in one of those, right? A woolly
Does
mammoth.
he have worse service than 90s?
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know, man. We don't. It's
Yeah.
Canada,
It's like
man. Big country, you know.
Third world, bro.
Oh man, we got the dictator and shit. Oh, fuck, man. Good
The
thing he doesn't
Canadians aren't
come
going
out
to
here.
starve because they're going to eat moose balls, and those are pretty big.
Dude, I'm eating wild horses, man. I've already got my survival plan in place. There's a fuck ton of wild horses in the foothills here, and they're fucking stupid.
There's a lot of protein in moose balls, by the way.
I forgot that Canadians eat horse.
Well, you can't buy horse at the store here, but you can in Quebec.
French people.
But I eat a horse. I don't give a fuck.
Okay,
I
so
eat a horse.
we're at, hold on, Alberto, we're at 55,000 pounds. What's going on at 10 feet here?
Oh yeah. So we basically slowly ripped this fucking string out of the hole. We're pulling anywhere from 55 to 65,000 pounds for the entire trip. Like it'll pull tight. We'll work it, and it'll go bang and come loose.
So many bad sex jokes on that one.
Oh man, oh Jesus. Anyway, so we're basically whole day just fucking ripping this thing out of the hole, just thinking, what in the fuck? We fucking rip her to surface, and the pump is coming out of the fucking stack, and there's nothing below the intake. the fucking ESP motor is somewhere in the hole.
Oh my god.
Oh man, I was dying laughing. Oh, I laughed my fucking ass off. Anyway, so we had to shut it. We had to go over, change. We were like, fuck this. Fucking rig the top section of the wellhead off. As we're pulling the fucking bops off, as we're pulling the midsection off, we look down, and there is just basically like a plug at the top of the well bore that is nothing but ESP cable and clamps as far as you can see the well bore. And there's just a 4.5-inch hole right down the middle.
Oh my god.
And so anyway, we had to go because the guys are dayed out. So we had to go change one of them up and then shut down for a week. Boys are dayed out. And we came back. We started fishing. And they were really lucky because it turned out that so they'd also done this really stupid thing. Normally we run a tow string of 3.5 wedge tubing all the way to the toe, so that we put the coil inside the tow string so that they don't interact. But they didn't do this because the liner was planted so high, and they wouldn't have been able to get the tow string and the pump in there. So we had these 2 joints of tow string at surface. We had literally crushed them into pieces, and I think that was what screwed us because I think that hooked the ESP cable, and then piled it all up at surface. It turned out that basically the entire contents of the well were in the first 20 meters of the well bore.
Wow.
So we sat there for about 10 days with rope spears and shit, just picking pieces of ESP cable and clamps and shredded fucking armor out of the hole.
Oh my god.
This is like Captain Ahab drills an oil well.
That's like the worst fishing expedition I've ever heard of.
Oh yeah, and then we had all this fucking. We had 1,300 meters DTS coil in the hole, so we managed to snag a big piece of it. We got about 800 meters of it out of the hole, and then we got to the point where it's like we're not going to get this other piece because it went down the hole and we don't know fucking where it went. So we ended up we told the office we knew what was going to happen. They thought, let's run an overshot. Maybe we can get pump out. We know we're never going to get this pump because we're never going to get any weight on it out in the lateral, like until we drive it up against the bottom of the second liner. They don't want to go that far. Plus, there's 400 meters of coil. It's probably in one section, like straight. So we were just like, yeah, we're running overshot. We just ran a fucking stop rig. We just basically ran a plug, like a pushing BHA, and we fucking jammed.
Did we lose him?
No, he should still be there.
Fucking Canadian cell service.
Trudeau. Cut him off.
If he's gonna tell me they jammed that motherfucker down that hole, that is gonna make my day. That is gonna make my day.
What are y'all cooking up in Tulsa over there? You're like hiding off screen.
Okay. Mrs. Buddy Stewart Wade said she didn't want to be on video.
Okay. But why is Mr. Buddy Stewart Wade like
you guys hear
being
me?
all sketchy, like mixing something up? Now we
can.
What are you mixing up off screen over there?
Shit. Oh yeah, you can hear me. All right.
Are you? What is that? You doing an unboxing?
We lost audio again.
Am I gone? Am I here? What's up?
Yeah.
No, you're good, Alberta. We lost.
Okay. I gotta finish this shit. Okay. So we told them we're gonna run an overshot to try and grab the pump. But we knew.
Okay, hold on. How far are we on the 42 days?
Oh man, we're at like day 38.
Okay. Okay.
And so we told them we're going to run an overshot to quote unquote grab the pump, but they didn't want us to go beyond 800 meters. And the second liner top was at 900. And we know if we don't get any weight on this pump, we're never going to lash it in the overshot. So we're like, yeah, we'll run the overshot. We didn't even run the overshot. We just put a stop ring on the end of the BHA, and we basically did a plunger. And we just rammed everything to bottom.
Yes, I thought you were gonna say that. That is awesome.
Yeah, we just rammed everything to bottom until we so the slant rigs all have pull downs. The pull down on that thing's good for 17x, or let me convert that, like 40,000 pounds. Good for 40,000 pounds of pull down. And I tell you, we pulled down 40,000 pounds.
Oh my God.
We fucking jammed that as hard as we could in the intent that it never moves again.
And you didn't break anything. I mean, you shoved it all the way to bottom, right?
Fuck yeah, we rammed her right to bottom.
Fuck.
The magnets were just coming out full of shit every trip. Like, there was like 1,000 shredded pop cans in this fucking well because we run this double armored ESP cable. They run an encapsulated bubble tube ESP cable. And so, I mean, the entire outer armor was just shredded.
What's that
And
shielded
so, like,
in? Like stainless?
Yeah, it's stainless.
Dang. So
Yeah,
yeah, metal shreds like crazy.
Oh man, it's just like 1,000 shredded pop cans inside this well. It's beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful because it went to bottom and you got done with it.
Well, yeah, and so that was that. Then we ran a scraper, and we couldn't get past 420. And everyone was all like,
hold on, you stopped at 420.
Smoke break.
We literally, the fucking scraper run, so we ran the stop ring, and it was 186 millimeters. The scraper assembly was 194, and the ID of the liner was 204.
Wow. So like a centimeter clearance.
Not even on the scraper. And so the stop ring went by, and the magnets and all that, no problem, sizzled on by 420. We hit 420 with the scraper, not a chance, nothing. So we were all like, oh shit, and they're like, whatever, just pull it out and run a pump. So we just pulled it out. Hey?
What's the production on this well now?
400 some barrels a day.
Fuck. Yes.
It's not bad.
420 barrels a day.
It's a horizontal.
Yeah.
How long's the horizontal?
About 800 meters.
Oh, that's pretty dang good then, huh?
Well, I mean, it's a SAG-D well, man. SAG-D wells are a whole other ball game.
I'm not really familiar with the game you guys play up there, to be all that honest, or to be very honest.
Okay, Synovus at Foster Creek drilled an 8-well pad that came on at 40,000 barrels a day across the pad.
Wow.
And
what are those lateral lengths?
1,300 meters.
Okay, that makes sense.
And like most of those wells have now cumed about 2.5 million barrels each.
Good God,
But most of those barrels were sold at like negative $27.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And then they had to give the queen her cut, 80%.
That pad only came on 8 months ago.
Oh God.
Wow.
Wow.
So somebody made some money.
Somebody went
Boner.
from $1 million
Yeah,
to making $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, I've seen SAG-D wells that are, 800 to 1,000 meter laterals that have cumed.
See, you
12,
really want to know
12
that.
barrels.
God. You need to know that before they report their earnings.
Yeah, give us the insider information next time.
I know, I need that privileged public information or whatever they call it.
Okay. Well,
non-material public information. I'm joking.
No, that is material non-public information.
That's what I meant. Yeah, I'm joking. I'm joking very much. God.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Beautiful stuff.
That's a great story. I appreciate that.
Oh, man. Anyway, I also lost 2 trucks on this well. 2 trucks died. I brought my truck up. I mean, this is the trustiest truck in the world. I've put like 300,000 kilometers on it. I bought it used. I've driven it forever. I've driven it across the country. I've driven it across the states. I've beat it through every amount of shit you could ever imagine. And the fucking thing died on this goddamn well. My buddy lends me his truck because he's going to fucking Mexico. And it fucking dies.
That's your problem for not driving a Unimog.
Apparently. Gee.
Yeah, right.
But man, I'm in Canada. How the fuck? I work in the oil patch and I got a fuckload of oil stocks. But how the fuck am I going to afford to put fucking gas in a Unimog?
Yeah, exactly, dude. You make it an electric Unimog, obviously.
I'm not fucking Warren Buffett here.
Run it on condensate, bro.
Yeah. Well, you get a couple Teslas, you put them in the back, and you use the batteries from those.
Do you know how much condensate costs up here?
How much?
In Canadian dollars, it's about $150 a barrel.
Holy shit, we should reverse the Keystone
We should
XL
ship
pipeline.
Canada
Open the
condensate.
Keystone XL. I want to ship Texas condensate north.
Oh, we have
God.
Putin's daughter on. If anybody wants to recognize it.
Who we got?
Maybe Lindsay will figure out how to take herself off mute this time.
I just
There
normally
we
don't
go.
like to talk or be seen. And I don't have anything productive to say at all.
Well, we can
Well,
hear
your
you and we can
camera's
see
on.
you, and we're saying
know.
hello.
I know, I'm doing something different. I'm folding laundry on camera.
How's it that?
I like that. I can't on the screen, but that sounds nice.
You can't see.
$130 oil, and we got Lindsay fold laundry on camera.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm not like you guys. I'm the poorest person on EFT.
No, that's
don't forget.
privilege. Being able to fold your laundry like that, so privileged.
So, are you in Wyoming?
Yeah. I'm in Wyoming. I live here now.
He is Putin.
Yes.
How is Wyoming?
It's fucking awesome, dude. It's like I could not be happier with being up here and not in Denver anymore. Could not be happier to be out of there. Like
Your issue with Denver being that it's super woke and a college technically now?
It smells like shit.
Is that Russ?
Also.
I could never see. Is that Russ? Or who's talking?
Oh no, it's
No.
Jordan. Sorry.
That's my buddy Jordan.
No, it's okay.
I don't think y'all met
I kept trying to squeeze in on the screen and I just kept making hearts. Like I kept just liking it over
I feel
and
like being a
No,
female.
I think
being a
that's
female
intern
in
loving your
Denver
picture.
Being a female in Denver is fucking money. Like, there's so many dudes in that goddamn town, dude.
dude. Yeah,
Denver.
but you don't understand.
Yes.
They're all chads. They're all either like fully tatted, like
Giga Chad.
bartenders, or they're
Chad.
like fucking East Coast bros or Texas
That's
bros.
like
there's.
That's like Chadford.
Hey, I'm from Texas, bro.
I'm
joking.
I came to
used
Denver
live
to
in
live the
Colorado.
mountain life.
I used to
I'm
be
here
one
for
of those
mountains.
bros.
I like it. Fuck.
I got a Subaru, man.
I don't know you, Jordan, so I will not say anything bad, but
Say whatever you want to say. I got thick skin. I
Denver
lived
is
in
just
Boulder
does
for
not-
6 years. It's horrible. I love it, but in
No.
theory, not.
Well, that's the thing about Wyoming is that I'm basically in Colorado. It just doesn't suck.
Yeah, you
like,
don't
the
have the
weather's
people to down.
The weather's the same. You know, it looks the same. Like I can do all the same shit besides go to Red Rocks. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. The people are way nicer. Everything's half the cost.
And you can piss outside of your back
I
porch.
haven't done that yet, but I'm sure I will.
Wyoming is awesome. So yeah, you made
It's
the right
fucking
decision.
rad. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
Where in Wyoming are you?
Sheridan. So it's like almost to Montana.
Dom is not.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Up in the mountains.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Corner.
Everybody has a standing invitation to come visit me on the way to
The one
Yellowstone.
that was overlaid.
You know, I've gone to Yellowstone twice in the last 3 years, and I only got to go through it once because it was closed the other time. I've never been so mad. How do you
Yeah, it has
close
a
a
short
national
season.
park? It's a
It has a
road.
short
Well,
season.
they
The roads
closed
are
it for
impossible.
COVID. They closed it for COVID. It was the middle of the summer. I was like about to lose my mind.
Oh yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, trust me. I almost got arrested driving through there illegally. Well, good story. What do you do in Wyoming? I'm unfamiliar.
I work for an engineering company and I do gas measurement. I basically just work in an office and then go to the field office when I want. Just kind of do whatever I want. I don't have a lot to do, so I just kind of fuck around.
I'd say that's a low-key brag, but there's nothing low-key about it.
Dude, well, no, it's amazing. I'm telling you, like I was fucking arguing with Theo, and he's like, oh, like going insane about how his phone never rings and he can't fucking take vacation and his boss is always up his ass. I was like, dude, why don't you just like take a giant pay cut and live your life? That's what I do.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Like-
what you have to do.
Hey,
It's a lot
Lindsay,
better.
do y'all use Test It, like a corn product for measurement? Or
No, we don't. The client Carbon Creek didn't want to buy FlowCals or Test It, so we have our own software that we use, which sucks balls. Because I've been using FlowCal and Test It for like 15 years, and I'm
Sorry,
trying to like.
Is sucking balls mean it's good or bad?
Oh, wow. I actually think that's interesting. I'm guessing bad on her perspective.
Okay, I was just checking. I don't know.
No, it's just like basically
I'd
I
say
have
that's
my
good.
whole career I've used one type of software that everybody uses unless they have their own, and now I had to learn a new one. But my AirPods are gonna die. But we use this software that this nerd wrote, and then he quit, and so now we have a new nerd writing new software, which is stupid because we could just have FlowCal by now.
In-house software sucks, and anybody who ever makes that decision should be immediately fired.
Corm sucks too, to be honest. Sometimes they're just a big.
I think everything sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with metering software. So.
The only good software is the software that's kicking money back to the person that's choosing to use the software within the organization.
For
That's the only
sure.
Yeah, it's useful.
I just want to figure out how to like
There you go.
hack some monitoring equipment. That's all I care about. Hypothetically, obviously, for like a TED Talk or something.
So, real quick, where are you guys at in Landman Life's spaces here? Because I've never seen this room. Is that like his living room?
No, this is the office. We usually set up at the table, but he's now decided to set up at the casting couch.
I don't like the word casted couch when two dudes are sitting on it. It doesn't sound normal.
The fluids would probably stain.
I don't like the word fluids either. And
I'm gonna need to get a plastic cover.
I'm sitting at the
couch for
actual
that.
work desk, which is now the producer's booth or something.
So we're just the sluts on the casting.
We are in the same room though.
Huh.
Cheers, intern. I'll throw something at you in a second. Here. Oh, y'all see that?
I thought that was Lindsay, is that your birth control?
No, dude. Funny story. I ran out of birth control. I thought I had some, and then I couldn't remember when the last time I had a new one was. So I was like freaking out, and I tried to make an appointment. Like, I don't have a fucking appointment until April, and I'm like, what the fuck? And so then I was bitching about it, and then I started getting all these Instagram ads that was like, get birth control online, and I was like, well, fuck. I need to do that.
You need to turn your Siri off on your phone. That's what you need to do.
I think it's easier to get
I know.
Erectile dysfunction drugs than birth.
Yeah.
Just call 1-800
Well, I fucking need
I was gonna
some
say
birth
he'll
control.
probably send you birth control too. Just look at the commercial a few times in succession.
A friend of mine once told me that they'll sell erectile dysfunction drugs in gift shops in Mexico, like beach resorts.
It's called like horny goat weed. Right?
No, that's so real Viagra, but usually it's counterfeit from India.
Yeah, they said it's like the real shit. You just go and you be like, "Hey, lady, I need the dick drugs," and she's like, "Aha, okay."
Dude, that's everywhere in every country other than the United States in the whole world.
Well, counterfeit by India. I mean,
I
that's
don't know
basically
about
like all the opiates you get from Walgreens now, right? Fuck Walgreens, by the way.
Hey, I mean, I've bought some stuff in Mexico before.
Walgreens is supporting.
If you're in Mexico long enough, you might need to take some meds. It's just how it goes.
Walgreens is like one of the oligarchs for the Russian government.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hey, are we gonna have a little minute of conspiracy theory at the end of this?
Well, we already talked about how everybody's raising fertilizer prices so that the world runs out of food.
Well, so who's the bad guy, Ukraine or Russia? Or we yet to decide on?
Well, it's not Brandon because all he does is eat ice cream.
Well, Brandon has oil prices over 100, so he is now second to Jesus.
Yeah, because he absolutely fucking hates Democrats. But
Oh yeah, so
you better vote Democrat your whole life. Everybody on this show, everybody in the world, better be blue as fucking blue balls. Okay?
I'm gonna get that shit tattooed on my face.
Right. Dom did. I don't know how to say that. Dom is saying that Mattress Firm is a money laundering scheme.
What?
I'm not sure what that's all about.
It's weird because they actually do sell products, and we have bought some mattresses from Mattress Firm, and we got mattresses that weren't full of drugs or money.
Correct.
So,
well, usually money laundering is just selling things not to make money, but to launder money. So it's not that they're like doing something crazy. They're just not.
I've never been
money.
into a Mattress Firm location when other people were actually buying anything. So maybe this is true. And they've always had more employees than shoppers.
Well, that's because really underneath, it's like that chicken restaurant in Breaking Bad. Really, they're making meth under all of them. That's the thing. I figured it out.
No, I definitely agree. It's like a cartel money laundering operation.
Yeah, but okay, so there's a restaurant in San Antonio called Thai D that has phenomenal Thai food, but it's also a front for a money laundering operation. They're only open like 3 days a week now. They still do not do in-person dining. It's only takeout.
Well,
and
no, I meant
the second part of the store that's like basically just a partition wall is like some like furniture house that no one has ever seen anyone go in or out of.
Well,
it's definitely a front.
I used to know those people well because I'd eat lunch there every day for like 6 years in a row. They're just doing all right. They're immigrants that came over 20 years ago. They made a bunch of money. They have like 6 daughters.
And
the
then
guy
they figured
said
out
to me,
how to launder money, and now they're making more money laundering money than running a Thai restaurant.
No, he said to me point blank, if my daughters don't want to show up for work, I don't want to open the restaurant. And I'm like, okay. So I started going to this other Thai place, Bangkok Thai, shout out. Now my favorite Thai place in San Antonio.
So the Thai Mafia, according to Wikipedia, is called the Chow Po.
Okay, well,
That's
we are
cool.
probably well acquainted with some of the very low-level people of the Chowpo.
Intern, I like what you're doing over there. It makes us feel.
He's like the research assistant,
No.
the
So
host, and everything.
He's the host.
Yeah, if you watch Rogan, I'm
you're
just trying to be young Jamie.
You're Jamie. You're Jamie. Yeah, you're doing great, man. You're doing great.
Well, cheers
Is
to that,
Donald
Jamie.
Trump really going to be on Rogan?
I hope so.
Oh,
Or
please.
is that like a myth?
Please.
Okay, Tulsa, we gotta go.
Just like
See you guys.
ivermectin curing COVID myth.
See you later.
Tulsa's leaving.
Yeah.
Bye.
See
Thanks
ya.
for joining.
No
See ya.
problem.
Good to
See
see
you
y'all.
next week. Yep.
So then it's not
did they
true.
Did they lose another truck?
No, it's time for them to go home.
Well,
I think the Buddy Stewart Wade said to go pick the kids up from
when
daycare or
Mrs. Buddy
something.
Stewart Wade and Mr. Buddy Stewart Wade are in the same room, I can see how that would happen.
Right. Like I said, they had to go pick the kids up from daycare.
Yeah, it's not the same as dropping the kids off at the pool.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
All right,
funny.
Lindsay, what are you doing this weekend?
Well, I don't know. My friend in Denver asked me how I was doing, and I was telling him that I'm good, but I just don't know anybody. So he like called his friend, and so his friend Jesus was like, "Come meet us." But I haven't showered in 2 days, and so I'm trying to decide. And that was at like 4:30, so I don't really feel like showering and going out. But then I also was gonna maybe go see a band with my kid's dad and my kid at a brewery at like 7. But I don't know if I'm going to do anything. And then I supposedly have a date tomorrow.
It's super cold up there, right?
Hey, have you met my buddy
right
Jordan?
now it's...
Hey.
What?
Available single
One
man.
question at a time.
Have you met my buddy Jordan?
Available single
No, I
man
haven't.
from
Hi,
Texas. Yeah.
I haven't showered in 2 days.
Hashtag South Texas Sultan. Hashtag kicked in the
Nice.
head by a cow.
Yeah, that second one resonates a little
There's
more.
It does.
Long hashtags.
I know, I like them. I've never used a hashtag. It seems stupid.
Well, we've got Don Jr. sitting here, and he hasn't said anything. He hasn't graced us with his beautiful voice or anything.
What's up, guys? I'm working, so just hanging in the background.
What are you working on right now?
Mapping a Gulf Coast field right now, but
Okay.
yeah, making some slides.
Is that American or Mexican or?
Where's the prospect?
It's American.
Okay.
It's Texas, yeah.
I mean, you
Red
probably
Deer.
make more money
Redneck.
if it was in Mexico, but you'd probably have to pay off some people,
Yeah, I mean, shit, I'd love to have mapped the Golden Lane back in the day, but it's kind of, yeah, don't know what's going on with Pemex down there these days.
I don't even think you had to map it. You just needed to know how to speak Spanish in the 90s. That was all you needed.
I guess, yeah, they just drilled right offset that oil seeps and shit and blew it out. So
We were talking about this a little bit last week that like if Pemex got their shit together, they have a lot of, or at least historically they had a lot of production that has certainly been greatly diminished over the last 30 years. So, no, is that longer? Is that 50 years now?
30, 40 years.
Is oil high enough for the Mexico Eagleford to come back?
Yeah.
It is, but I don't think that they can have the infrastructure because of the cartel problem.
Well, nobody will invest is the problem.
Right.
Because their infrastructure is too old, and from my understanding, they need new transmission lines to get to major markets. And that's the pricey part.
But my neighbor, I was talking about this last week, was saying that there is a large LNG export terminal on the Pacific coast of Mexico that's hooked up by pipeline to the United States, and that it's a couple months away from being operational and start sending LNG the opposite direction.
I wonder where that is, if that's over on outside of Baja or in the Sea of Cortez.
I am not
I'll look it
100%
up.
sure.
That's interesting.
He told me, but I don't speak Spanish, so I didn't really know what he was talking about. But hey, Dom Jr., do you happen to have any thoughts on Mexican production? If those guys got their shit together, what they might be able to bring online?
Honestly, I don't know anything about that really. I don't know. I mean, I would have to imagine, you know, that you brought up the Eagleford earlier in terms of it does extend into that for a little bit. So you got to think they got some prime acreage over there. And then especially with like EOG and everybody targeting the gas window these days, you got to think they got that going along the coast as well. But I don't know what, I don't follow Pemex. I don't really know what they're doing.
Not a whole lot from what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Mexico's production is like somewhere around 1 million barrels a day.
Yeah. At one point, wasn't somebody like Chevron interested in a huge JV in Pemex to take over most of their production?
But that was like offshore stuff.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It was for lease. That's never mind.
And that was like the lease block deal where then they had that huge scandal about how the auction was rigged and everything.
Yeah, it wasn't producing assets or yeah, I remember that now.
That was only a couple of years ago.
That seems to be, in my opinion, the best bet is if somebody, I think, you know, kind of like how the Eagleford was developed in conjunction, you know, with a bunch of companies with external partners like Pioneer and Reliance Energy. I tend to think that.
Don't forget about CNOOC.
And CNOOC.
Unfortunately, those fucking Chinese assholes were involved.
Yeah, I would think that would be how Mexico ends up producing their assets, is they have to get some kind of investment bank of the third world to come fund their they're somewhat thought out production, but who knows? I mean, it's interesting to think they have a lot of oil, but you know, how do you bring it to market without a ton of money? So.
Yeah.
Well, even then, they can't keep it secure. Like somebody's gonna show up and fucking rob everybody the minute something's happening, and they also like poking holes in pipelines for free gas.
Yeah, they like that. I mean, they like that a lot.
They learned that from Nigerians, by the way.
I mean,
I don't see why anybody would want to do much there.
Yeah, but I have the same philosophy to be quite honest about places like Saudi Arabia. I have for years. You know, the only reason Saudi Arabia has the ability to sell their product is that they have a unique product that's really heavy and, you know, really available.
Well, so like when we're looking at the possibility of the world, except for China, no longer buying Russian oil or gas, you're going to have to make up those barrels somewhere because we don't have batteries to store the electricity from the wind and solar that everybody has been building all over the world. So where do you find it? And I think the answer is you find it in Canada, you find it in some. We have the possibility of increasing production in the United States. At higher oil prices, it's economical. At lower oil prices, probably not so much. But you have Mexico, you have South America, you have basically all of the Latin American countries have reserves that, due to corruption, maybe, you know, under investment in infrastructure and things like that, have historically declined in production. I think that's where you have to look for safer, more guaranteed barrels to make up that gap. But you're also talking about something that might take a couple of years to really become a factor again.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
And then everybody on the left would rather have it be shut everything down and we go all renewable, and if we just have to go without power for 3 years, then that's fine. Well, how do you build out your renewable shit without power? You don't. So
what's the difference in the investment curve and the production curve? It's basically like 2.5 years, 3 years. So, I mean, you know, that's the quickest you can do anything in this industry, realistically.
I mean, I think for onshore, it's a little bit shorter now.
Just because you have a bunch of stacked offshore rigs, maybe.
What were you going to say, Lindsay?
Well, when you opened this conversation, or a few minutes in, because I couldn't get the link, you were talking about like what's everybody.
No, I sent the link. That's their fault.
I know. I got it. Obviously. But no, you started off by saying, "What's everybody doing?" And I don't know if everybody's muted me by now, probably, but I was posting yesterday and today about how I spent all fucking day in a COGCC hearing on a pad that's ready to go. You know, the plans are there. I've never really been too close to the drilling side, but I would say, you know, up to the point where you're ready to move the shit onto the location and start. So all that pre-work is done. So all your geology, all your obviously the money's there. The company's ready to go. And then it just happens to fall a little bit short of the 2,000 miles or 2,000 foot setback that we have in Colorado. But there was set up exemptions in place for this. And so what you have to do is, you know, fucking jump through like 6 more hurdles, do an environmental study and a couple of other things, and you can qualify for this exemption. And you have a handful of these fucking dickheads who just moved into their homes literally fall of last year, 2021, from likely most places out of state, that hired some fucking enviro attorney who then paid some fucking fake ass consultant to say that they didn't want to do it, and it was underneath, you know, it was unsafe, whatever, blah, blah, all the reasons. And the fucking CODCC just denied the permit.
Oh my God. Because it's a salamander habitat or something?
No, because they didn't want to cave in the Rocky Mountains.
Oh, yeah.
No, it has nothing to do with
because of fracking.
It's the setback.
Yeah, that's retarded. Because they never approved the exemption on the setback, correct?
Yes, it's not fracking. It's just no drilling under 2,000 feet unless you meet these criteria, and then subsequently the COGCC approves it. They met the criteria. The COGCC just said no. And so how the fuck are we supposed, when all that pre-work is done, like somebody was just saying, I can't see the screen barely, but like all that's fucking done, we have a pad ready to fucking go like next week, and we can't fucking do it. And it's just been pissing me the fuck off, like for 2 days now.
Well, Boulder's a sellout state. They want to pretend they're not. I lived there almost 10 years. It's a sellout state.
Here's the other thing. It's not in Boulder. It is in Weld County. Weld County, which is the one county. They produce the most oil and gas in the whole
conservative.
state.
Conservative county.
They are pro. Let me finish. They are pro oil and gas. The whole intention behind these rules was that each county and each city should be able to do what is best for them. And the city of Firestone, which is where this was to take place, said, we are good with this. They even set up a land swap. They were going to get 78 acres of land to build fucking biking trails or whatever the fuck they wanted to do from Kerr-McGee/Oxy in exchange to just be able to drill on this land that they already own, that Kerr-McGee owns and has had drilling plans since at least 2015. And then some developer comes in and builds fucking homes under the setback last year, mind you, 2021, and then we still can't drill for oil. Explain to me how this fucking makes any sense. And this is why I want to bash my head into the wall all day long, because I spent all day listening to this hearing, and I testified, and they don't give a shit.
No.
Even with what's going on right now.
No, that's insane. That's
Colorado politics. You're too cute to bash your head into the wall. We need some other really ugly dude to bash his head into the wall on your behalf.
It's just infuriating. And it doesn't make any sense.
It's pick the winner government. Well, I got to wonder why oil companies don't reshape things. Just go buy the neighborhood, run a bulldozer over it, build your oil well. Done. How much could those houses really cost? So less than oil, $120.
I mean, I don't know enough about it, but I'm thinking they bought their acreage, and then with the 2,000 foot rule, you're talking about, any direction.
I'm typically trying to find the compromise on where we can figure out how to do stuff with the existing framework. And Jordan's more of the mind of like, take the framework and smash it to pieces
No, there's some you just can't do. I mean, oil and gas in Colorado is a prime example. That's a very difficult state to operate
if there's not a law against buying a subdivision, running everybody out, raising it to the ground, and then building a giant fucking,
But
100 well pad with an aiming plant in the middle.
I don't
Why
care.
shouldn't we?
That's capitalism, man.
Well,
Raise it
because
to the ground.
you have to think bigger. Okay, first of all, we've had a capital problem for how long now? So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention housing prices have shot up everywhere. I just sold an 850 square foot house in Denver for $420,000.
Good for you.
$420,000. All right.
In the fucking world, practically, thank you, has enough to buy those homes in that subdivision. Competing interests. Developers have zero fucking accountability in this. And that's what pisses me off so much, too.
Free cash flow. $400 oil fixes this.
There's no way that an oil company can go buy a bunch of $500,000 houses.
Okay, well,
no, I agree.
Okay, but so
and the problem is the government obviously.
So there's the Cinco Ranch and all of that stuff out near Katy, and that subdivision back like 4 or 5 years ago was the largest growing like 2 or 3 zip codes in the United States. So everybody was moving to this area because they had, I guess, decent homes and infrastructure, and they had a close enough proximity to Houston. It's very interesting that all of the public green spaces, parks, and stuff like that are set out in a grid pattern for that entire subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
And those parks and everything are the same size as a drilling pad.
Mm-hmm. Coincidentally.
And the entire fucking thing was set up so that if we got to the point where oil prices were high enough, if the reserves were proven, that you could park a drilling rig on top of that park green space in the middle of a giant fucking subdivision
and build Spindletop.
Yes.
East Lake.
And they set this up from the start.
I love
They
it.
said,
Houston Oil,
you know what? If it comes to that point.
They built in a bunch of regulations that would allow it too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they killed the setbacks.
And they set all of this shit up from the very start before this area got developed. And that it blew my mind when I found out that that's what they had done. Because you can look at it on Google Earth and you can see, okay, there's a lot of fucking parks and shit, but they're all in a grid pattern. Well, they're set up in case somebody needs to park drilling rigs there at some point in the future, which we probably are not going to get to that point in our lifetime.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will.
But if we do get to that point, I can guarantee you there are going to be so many fucking people that are going to be kicking and screaming about how before the rig even from the drilling, you know?
Mm-hmm. You nailed it.
And it's just like a never-ending stream of bullshit with all of that. And I know that Lindsay has dealt with this a lot with the not in my backyard attitude with her experience in Colorado, but it's one of those things that, you know, you also have to understand how the world is powered. And the world is not powered only during daylight hours or windy days.
Yeah, of course.
You're not ever going to be able to exist with that.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing about that as well? That's another reason that I really love Wyoming is because the governor, the whole mindset is all of the above. All of the above. They fully support renewables. They fully support oil and gas. And like I said, the governor, he just did his state of the state thing like a month ago. And that was like one of the first things he fucking said. And I'm like, it's not that hard, guys. And I know Texas has done it too. I guess I probably don't know as much about really either. But like, it just makes me proud. You know what I mean? Because it's like, It's oil and gas is not fucking going anywhere in this state. They're not fighting it. They do it responsibly. You have the BLM up your ass. You know, the BLM is very, very rigorous, but also very retarded. But, you know, they're doing it right up here. And the fucking state's beautiful and everything's fine. Like, I just don't understand why it's so hard for everyone.
Well, you're sensible environmentalist. That's different. Sensible environmentalist. You go down a couple hundred miles, go to Colorado. No one's sensible anymore. You know, they think that you can power your house with like skiing or a pill or whatever.
Lindsay, how far from like
Peloton?
How far from like Jackson Hole are you?
You know what's crazy about this state, dude? Everything is fucking far as fuck away. Like, I thought I was close to Colin, but he's like 2 hours away. Jackson Hole's like 6 hours away, and I'm not even that on a map. It doesn't even look that far.
How far away from
but it's
Colorado
like 6 hours
are you?
away. From Colorado, I'm like 5 hours away. 6 total.
She's on the other side of the state.
You're in the middle of fuckwhere.
I mean, kinda.
No, you're on the Montana border, right?
Yeah.
It's the middle of nowhere.
Well, I was only asking because Jordan's going to be going up to Colorado and maybe having in some point
Shut
in
up,
the future. So.
God.
You know what's funny is I seriously have no desire to go back there right now.
I'm just gonna go up there to see some friends and, you know, hang out.
Hell yeah.
Participate in legal activities with some friends.
I mean, I support that. I support that all day long, but I just couldn't live there anymore.
I'm going to go into grocery stores and talk about how I voted for Biden and I am like, you know, pro oil and gas and blah, 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 top of my lungs.
Make sure you're wearing your stripper wall hat.
Yeah, all lies, but, you know, I'll do that all the time. I go tell people I'm a huge Democrat and a big racist and tell my favorite racist joke.
Well, I think we're about ready to wrap up here. And
going on 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Wow, guys. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say that there's some pro oil and gas Dems out there, man. Don't hate on all of us, man.
That's just because you haven't figured out you're not a Dem yet. You know,
nah, man.
You'll come around, buddy. When you're eating that, when you're standing in that bread line. It's always the geologist, and they went to like Colorado or UT Austin most of the time.
No, neither.
I'm joking. I said most of the time.
When you go to the supermarket and they're trying to sell you Nutria at $40 a pound,
I'll mix it up in some beans and fucking heat that shit up, man.
Talking about crystals and Nutria. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Hey.
Thanks for joining in, everybody. And Lindsay, thank you for taking yourself off today.
Hell yeah, dude.
This was really fun. And we will see you guys next week.
All right, guys.
Yeah, y'all take it easy.
Thank you, guys.
Be safe out there.